Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Hunibadger with Hunibadger Stand and Bubbler Diamond Dab of the Day with Calistripes Diamonds. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Today is Sunday. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe, join the Senior Stoner family, send a like, and I respond to all comments. How do we cope and bounce back quickly from disappointments and frustrations in life? They're a part of everyday life. Let's discuss, because our daily stressors can heighten our reaction to negative news. Well, I think you got to take a moment to wallow. You may find your sense of calm more easy if you allow yourself not to be calm for the initial shock of disappointment. That's right, when you get bad news, take a moment to let it sink in. Find a word for how you feel, such as disappointed, resentful, or afraid. You see, labeling your feelings at that point helps us make sense of our experience. So let the waves of disappointment wash over you. Speak out loud, if to yourself only, and honor your emotions. Experiencing your feelings will allow you to make a cool-headed decision about what to do next. Do a reality check. Is it really that bad? After feeling the first blows of disappointment, maybe step back and assess the situation. It can seem like the biggest, most horrible thing that possibly could have happened, but humans tend to dramatize too. Feelings are real and important to recognize, but thoughts are not always the truth. So when the initial upset's over, maybe try to look objectively at your problems to help separate fact from fiction and reduce negative self-talk. They say it, we should do it. Go high when hit with a low blow. Though we don't get to choose the situations about which we feel disappointed, we do have a lot of choice with how we respond to the disappointment. We can choose what we do, what we say, and what we think about any given situation. And it's important to head disappointment up at the pass before things turn into an irritation, anger, resentment, jealousy, or bitterness party. Don't stew on the negativity. Like any other emotion, disappointment has a spectrum. The secret to dealing with disappointment might be not letting it grow into stronger emotions like discouragement and depression. You see, the longer you stew in disappointment, the more likely you might be to become discouraged, which is more difficult to get through. And the longer you're discouraged, the greater chance of getting depressed, which is even worse to get through. Try to turn the emotional tables on disappointment and always look for ways to grow from it. Turn the negative emotion into a positive emotion like determination, because it's a way to restore peace of mind. Avoid anxious reactions by trying to lower our stress. Maybe find a sweet spot for fast anxiety relief. Square breathing, listening to music, a bath, watching a comedy you like. Your general state of stress and anxiety can add an extra layer of sensitivity, and it makes you more prone to agitation. Stress is on a continuum from 0, no stress at all, to 10, the most stressed you've ever been. And when we're at 7 or higher out of 10, we tend to negative filter, focus almost exclusively on the negatives, and catastrophize. I'm a double hands up. I do it all the time. We need to find things to do every day that keep us calmer so we don't feel it is the end of the world every time we're disappointed by one small outcome. You see, I think we have to put things in perspective. You see, what has to happen maybe is we have to frame the events in our lives in a more constructive way. Our interpretation of what's happening is in many ways more important than what's happening. And that is the case, I think. So in any disappointment, we need to find something useful that we can build on, or that at least lets us see even the smallest positive. the more we can learn to frame in a way that's constructive and positive, while still being honest, the better we're going to be able to process and deal with life's disappointments. And you know what? We have to try not to take other people's reactions and opinions to heart. There are differing points of view, and they're not in themselves insults. Some people feel attacked when someone disagrees with them or implies that they've done something wrong. Well, wise people might be better off knowing that every person has a unique perspective, and that's okay. Not every person we deal with in our life or in social media is wise, but we can all work on becoming secure in our own points of view so that others don't rattle us with theirs. And we can also lighten up about some of our own views. Maybe be open to new ideas and facts. Maybe we don't need to feel a need to be right all the time. And it's important to own our mistakes and apologize for them when we do them. And ultimately, what might happen is we might limit others from dumping their disappointments. While sharing and being heard is important, try to stay away from those people who make a big deal out of everything that goes wrong. You may know someone who takes everything as a personal affront. They're sure that the other driver cut them off on purpose, that his boss has it in for him, that the spouse forgot to buy milk because she's being mad passive-aggressively, and she doesn't care about him. But you see, people who put a negative spin on everything often spew the negativity on the people around them. Sometimes you have to limit your contacts, and when exposed, let negative news go in one ear and out the other, especially when trying to process your own disappointment. Maybe write down what distresses us. It can help us get it out of our system. It's one way to cope. Journaling might even be a good way to start to express our concerns and emotions about disappointment in a truly non-threatening way. You see, the journal is non-judgmental and will listen to you. Maybe free write, not even lifting the pen from the page until it all flows out. I used to call that stream of consciousness, and I used to write papers in college like that. Just start and didn't stop till I finished. And it can be a great way to grow and learn and transform from your disappointment, because writing releases pain and it helps us rebuild strength. And this is all going to help us develop positive thinking muscles, muscle memory, like golfers, like tennis players. When we get stuck focusing on the bad news, we lose sight of what's right in our lives and the world around us. Our brains are fundamentally wired to focus on the negatives in our lives. It's part of our self-preservation to look for potential threats in the world around us. But that wiring is old. And in today's world, it might not serve us when we're being pummeled with negativity at every turn. It's not Tyrannosaurus Rex coming. It's not Dad coming to beat you. So, our brains are neoplastic, meaning we can rewire them to look for what's right in the world. A gratitude list. What you are grateful for during the day can help reset your mind. Everything from the new job that pays $1 million to that great cup of coffee you had this morning. You might see a knee-jerk reaction from negative to positive on yourself. Breathe your way to a clear mind, because the emotional center in our brain starts here. So, and I have goose pimples talking about it. The simple act of taking a few deep cleansing breaths, it dissipates what's called cortisol, a stress hormone, through oxygenating our blood. And it gets us back into thinking mode instead of reaction mode. Breathing can actually give us help feelings of well-being and peace. Remember, we cannot always control the disappointments that come our way, but we can always seek to alleviate and counteract their impact on our daily lives. And we must remember, always, if the burden is too heavy to carry alone, reach out to someone. Reach out to a friend, a loved one, a partner, or a professional. Talk to someone. This has been the Real Senior Stoner, talking about how we deal with disappointment. Everybody does it, and everybody does it differently. I hope you enjoyed the talk. It's important for us to think about these things so we don't get caught flat-footed, frankly, when a disappointment occurs, because they do happen all the time in the world. Let's take our dab of the day. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to join the Senior Stoner family. Here we go with our diamond dab of the day. Cheers, everybody. Tasty. Thanks again for joining me, everybody. Have a great day out there. It's been the Real Senior Stoner with you. Cheers.